Hey guys, it's Crystal. It's been about a week since my last video, and this video I wanted to talk about winterizing because we've had a lot of trial and errors with winterizing and learning quite a bit because there's nothing like researching it compared to living it. And so this is our first winter in an RV, and we have a 1988 fifth wheel Coachman, and it's old, which means it's drafty, to say the least. Wanted to talk about just some things that have happened. We are in Kansas right now, and the weather was okay, like 60s, so it wasn't too bad, and we could use our space heaters here and there. We have two space heaters, and one is in our front room, which is our bedroom as well, and the other is in our boys' room. And we've learned that our boys' room, since it's completely closed off, heats up very fast and is the hottest room in the entire RV. Pretty much everywhere else is just really cold and drafty. So I'm thankful that our boys have the warmest room in the RV, and I'd rather them have it than us. But the winter hit here really fast. Probably within 24 hours. We got a big, huge snowstorm, and snow came, and we were just kind of got a rude awakening about winter living in an RV. Our water hose froze, and we learned a lot about that. I couldn't disconnect it or anything. We just had to wait for it to unthaw, which took about a day. And I should have known to leave the faucets at least dripping, and I didn't do it. It's just a new thing for me, and in our old house I'm so used to not wasting water that would be an automatic no. So old habits kind of checked in there. But so our water hose froze, and so I ended up buying a heated water hose because I heard that your choices are pretty much buying a heated water hose or taping in your water hose in heated tape, and then insulating it. Well, we bought a heated water hose 25 foot for $120 off Amazon, and it took well over a week to get here, even though there is an Amazon factory not 7 miles from here. So we had to deal with not having a water hose for about 8 days. So we filled our fresh water tank instead of having our regular water hose freeze. So we would fill that every 2 days. Well, nearing the 4th or 5th day of using the fresh water tank, our pump gave out on us. So, and let me just tell you that if you're really, really new like we were, I didn't even know that filling up your fresh water tank, to get it to work inside your RV, there's a pump that you have to flip on. And ours is near our gauges that tell us how much water is in our fresh water and our gray tank and black tank. So there's a little pump button. And I didn't know that. I was clueless, and I hurry up and got on the computer, and I'm like, what's going on? Isn't this supposed to work automatically? Well, you have to have pressure. So anyways, the pump worked fine, but we ended up using it in the time that we really needed it, and it took a poop on us. So we were out of water there for a bit, and kind of just went with the flow and conserved what we could. We always keep water in the house or in the RV anyways. We have a full, I think our Berkey water filter holds 2 gallons, but we always fill glass jars like 2 quarts and a gallon. We have a gallon jars that we fill with our fresh Berkey water, and we have those around here. And plus we always have some in my husband's zojirushi for his tea, so we can use that whenever. So we weren't like, it wasn't awful, but it was not a pleasant experience for sure, especially having 2 little kids where you constantly have to wash your hands and always need water to wipe faces and tables and accidents on the floor. And so we constantly had to fill up little bowls and just pour the water over our soapy hands to wash our hands. So we did that. If you are an experienced RV'er, yes, there is a public bathroom here, but it's like way across the pond, and I'm not lugging 2 toddlers over there to constantly get washed up. So my husband and I would drive over there to take showers and such in our truck, and so that wasn't a big deal, but it's not ideal to lug 2 toddlers around all the time just to get them cleaned. So we just had water around here for a while. Anyways, our heated water hose came, and we hooked that up, and it works just fine. It's a Pirate, I think, or Pirate, Pirit, hose. So it had good reviews. But I would tell you that if I had to do it again now with the little bit of research I've had time to do, I would not buy a heated water hose. I would just insulate my hose and buy heated tape, because it is far more cost effective, and it's just less expensive. And our heated water hose costs a lot, and we're on a very tight budget, so probably wasn't really wise for us to do, but we kind of didn't know any different. And that's why I'm making these videos, to help people in our situation who are just starting out. You know, this is something that we learned, and I wouldn't do it again. I would just insulate the hose and use heated tape. It is a lot more labor intensive, but it's worth it to save like $60. So definitely do your research on that if you're in our situation and have to have constant water. So propane. We have learned a lot about propane and usage in our RV. When we first set out RVing, it was in September, and we didn't really need it that much, so it lasted us for like a month or month and a half. So until that winter actually hit, like 2 weeks ago, we really didn't need the propane too much, besides flipping it on to heat the water. But funny story before I tell you about our recent events. When we first started RVing in September, we left Illinois and drove down to Missouri, and it was very, very, very cold night. Our first night ever full-timing, and we were parked at a trucker stop, and we had just started out, so we kind of just were really unorganized, and we had boxes all stacked in the living room, we had boxes in the boys' room, and we had tons of bags under the table, so it was really cramped, and we couldn't get around that much. So we kind of just bundled up, and my husband slept with the boys like really snug, and they had a really big blanket and all cuddled, and I just kind of slept out here, cuddled up on a couch, and tried desperately to keep myself warm. And we woke up in the morning freezing our buns off, and then after we came back to the RV after breakfast, we were thinking a little bit more clearly, and we were like, our heat runs off propane. We could have had heat all last night. So that's a little boo-boo that we learned very quickly. I think it was just the whole so used to living in a house and not in an RV that we were thinking that we needed to be hooked up in order to have heat. If you're new, not true. You can be anywhere and use your propane and have heat. So that was something that we learned about really fast. Anyways, back to now. Fast forward 2 months later, and this really nasty winter that hit. We had both of our tanks filled, and we have two 20-pound tanks. So we have like the really small tanks. We have two of them for this really huge 36-foot fifth wheel. It doesn't make sense to me. That's really small for this long of a space. Whatever. Anyways, we pretty much blasted the heat for the first couple days because it was frigid outside. It hit into the 20s. So that was when our water hose froze, and we ended up switching the tank to the second tank, and then we got, I think our tank ran out in the middle of the night because we woke up really early, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and we were just all shivering. My boys, thankfully, their room is always warm because their space heater, even if our RV central heat would go out, that space heater we have in their room would keep them warm on electricity. So they were okay, but my husband and I were completely like frozen. We couldn't even step onto our kitchen ground because it was like ice. And so we went to check the heaters, and it was blowing out cold air. So if you run out of propane and you have your heater on, it will keep going. It will just blow out cold air. So that sucked so bad. It was the worst experience ever. So from then on, we realized that we could only go 4 days on 2 tanks of propane. So every 4 days, we have to go and get them filled up. Well, it just constantly kept running out, and finally just a few days ago we're like, why don't we fill up the one tank whenever it gets empty? That way we always have them filled instead of waiting for them both to get empty. And I know that that's something that should be common sense, but really we didn't even think about it. I don't know, it's just something that we had to learn as well, which sucked. But we know now, which is good. Also, when you're a first timer in an RV camping in the winter, you realize, especially if you have an older camper like we do, that pretty much there's wind and gusts that blow in everywhere. We've got, both of our doors are horrible for letting cold air seep through. I can go by my front door and just stand there, and it would be like an air conditioner blowing at me. This door, we have put up a blanket on, and it's helped dramatically. So that's good. Every single one of our windows in the RV leaks really bad. The air, I mean, they're like freezing. So we try to keep the windows closed, or the curtains closed at all time, and that helps a little, but can only do so much. Also, we realize that on the floor where there are vents and on the ceiling where there are vents, that cold air seeps through there too. So pretty much every single spot that you have a connection to the outside, there's just cold air constantly seeping through. Which is horrible. We've tossed the idea of using the plastic stuff on our windows and just sealing it like that. We don't have a blow dryer, so we would have to buy a blow dryer, but we've heard of this stuff called Reflectix, REFLETIX, I believe it's called, and it's just an insulation that you can put on your window. It's expensive, so we haven't bought it yet because we're just on such a tight budget. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do about that, or really how much longer that we're going to be in this winter part of the US. I'd really like to go south, but since my husband's still working for Amazon, however long they decide to keep him on, we'll stay, because we don't have a clue where we're going next, and we're just kind of going with the flow right now, and we're not really scheduled with our trip, our couple year trip, of what we're doing and where we're going. We just know that Amazon pays decent enough for us to try to save for when he no longer works there. So anyways, I'm not sure if we'll end up doing the windows and getting those insulated, but there's just cold all over the place. Even our cabinets, when we, like under the sinks, under both of our sinks, when we open them, it's just constant cold air. Oh, another tip, whenever you're in freezing weather or very cold weather, I think I said this, but leave your faucets leaking at night, just dripping actually. We leave all of our faucets leaking whenever it gets below freezing now, but also leave your cabinets open just a little bit so that your pipes don't freeze, which, by the way, we have had a pipe freeze, and thankfully just sticking a heater under the trailer, just using an extension cord and taking a space heater and putting it under there, thawed it out. So we try to keep our cabinets open at night so that those pipes don't freeze, and that helps a lot, but lets in a lot of cold air, which is annoying. It's kind of a catch-22. So another thing that we've learned is that we have 2 space heaters, and so we run them pretty much all the time at night, and during the day we can't really run them too much. Well, we just can't run other things. We can run the TV if we wish, because it doesn't draw that much wattage, but if we want to run our toaster oven, our New Wave, our Zozurushi, then we have to unplug both of our heaters, or else it'll trip the power. So, and we have to reset that a lot. So I've learned a lot that I can't cook with the heaters on, and I've learned what I can and can't run all at the same time, and it's really kind of weird still to get used to, not being able to run everything you want to have going, and we really usually don't run that much stuff, but in the morning I usually cook a large breakfast for the family, and I have everything going at the same time. In the mornings it's still cold, so I like to have the space heaters on too. Well, sometimes I forget to turn off both space heaters before I plug in my cooking stuff. So anyways, I've learned that, and that's something you guys just have to learn about in your own RV. Ours is a 30 amp, so there's a lot less stuff that we can do electrical wise compared to a 50 amp. So let's see, I made a list so that I wouldn't forget to tell you guys everything that has happened. I think that's about it. So just lots of cold weather here right now. I hope that we get out of here soon. We really want to go south, but wherever the jobs are, we will go. And on another note, I finally figured out how to use the oven, and people had said that you just stick a lighter or a flame under there where the pipe sticks out. Well, I had tried that and it didn't work several times, but I have one of those long lighters, and my little pipe where the gas comes out is actually in a weird spot. It's in like the middle of the pipe, so it's not on the very end, which I would have thought it would have been. So it's back a couple inches from the end of the pipe. So I figured that out, and I've cooked a few meals in there, and it's been really good. It does cook different than your home sticks and bricks oven does. So I kind of burnt some meatloaf in there because it was different. I have heard though that if you stick like I don't know, some kind of plaque in there, you would get an even temperature, like a pizza stone. That's what it is. If you stick a pizza stone in there and then put your dish on top of that to bake, then it cooks a bit more evenly. So I haven't tried that because we're just on a budget, so we can't really afford frivolous things that aren't absolutely necessary now, especially since I spent so much money on that stinking water hose. Also, just if anyone's watching this who's more experienced than me, our refrigerator has a check light on it, and it's been on for a while. One of them is the power light, and the other one is a check light, and I have no idea how to turn that off or what exactly that means. So if anyone wants to give me any advice on that, that'd be cool. But that's all I got for now. I promise to show you the rest of the RV. My kids are just asleep, so at night I just have a tendency to have a little bit more time to do things. But yeah, if you have any questions or advice, please feel free to post it, because we're still learning. We've only been full-timing 2 months, so feel free to give me advice on things to do. Thanks for watching. Bye.